are at the JC LISD Academy, a regional middle college. My name is Jonathan Tovar. I'm the principal of the middle college, and I am here today with 4 of our graduates that will be graduating this year with their high school diploma and their associate's degree. Each and every one of these students has already completed their associate's degree or are finishing up the last few courses. Some of them walked for graduation. Any of you walked this week?
I did. Tiffany walked.
Tiffany walked? Yeah. So 2 of them chose to walk, 2 of them chose not to walk. But in just 2 weeks from now, every one of them will be walking through our 2nd annual graduation ceremony. Now, I wanted to take a time to just be able to hear some stories from them, hear for you viewers at home what the experience has been like for them, what are their future plans, and where do we go from here. So I'm going to turn, and Emily's giving me the look, so I'm going to start with Emily.
All right. Well, I came from Adrian Public Schools, and I started here my freshman year. I've been here for 3 years, and I'll be done after August of this year. I'm taking 5 classes right now, which is kind of hard, but I'll get through it. My experience here has been just nothing but great. It's just a really great school. It's really centered around doing things at your own pace and growing as a person, which I really have enjoyed, and I've utilized that, just being able to, make myself a better person for the future and for now. After I graduate from here, I'm just going to take a year off, and I'm going to work and get some, experience, real life experience, and save up some money, just have some fun. And then after that, I'll probably go to either Michigan Tech or Northwood. Michigan Tech would be for civil engineering and Northwood for business.
And you should mention that, Emily, you are how old?
16.
16 years old. So 16 years old, just completed her high school diploma and her associate's degree. So you've earned a year off.
Yeah.
Worked hard. Very good. Now, Aiden, you'll share with us a little bit about your story.
Like Emily, I also came from Adrian High School. And my experience here has been relatively enjoyable, but with any experience it came with minor hiccups. I'm planning on attending Siena Heights after this to major in psychology.
Very good. Now, you're studying in the fall?
Yes.
Right. And Aiden, how old are you?
18.
18 years old, and you came to the middle college at, how old were you?
14.
14 years old. And what has changed since when you came here to here personally? How have you changed?
I'm not sure if the school has changed me any, but like any person going through adolescence, I've changed, matured a little bit.
Very good. Any moment that really stands out to you?
This one.
The being done, the ability to finally say no more. You have 1 class right now, you're finishing up the semester, right?
Right.
And then any fun plans for the summer?
I'm planning on going to Chicago a lot.
Why Chicago?
Art Institute and relatedness.
Very good, very good. Haley?
I came here to the academy my sophomore year from Adrian High School. I was 16 years old and I was pregnant, so I needed a more flexible schedule, and the academy was perfect for that. I got to take high school classes, finish that up, and take college classes, and I'll be graduating with my high school diploma and my associate's degree in business.
Now, that's a really cool story, because for you, Haley, you could have been, you were technically at risk. Mm-hmm. You were at risk, you found out you were pregnant, and you could have easily said, you know what, I'm not going to do more than I need to do, I'm going to do just high school.
Yeah.
But you chose to say, this is not just enough for my future of my family, but I want to do more. What was that, a little bit about that decision? Talk to us through that process of how you came to that decision.
Well, it was hard to leave Adrian because of my friends. But I decided that I needed a better future for not only myself, but for my daughter too. I wanted her to set a good example for her, to show her that if you really want to do something, you can set your mind to it and you can achieve it.
And you mentioned that the flexibility of the scheduling has allowed you to do some of those things.
Yeah.
How did that go? Talk to us about that, because our viewers at home may not know or understand how the academy allows some flexible scheduling, and how has that helped? Obviously, when you first had her, and Maya, beautiful, 2 years old now,
yeah.
Right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I got to do my high school classes while I was off of school for about 6 weeks after I had her. And a tutor came to my house, and she helped me with all my schoolwork and made sure I was on top of it. And when I came back, it was just as if I had never left. I was all up to date, and I started taking my first college classes.
And you were able to work it out so that, somebody was with Maya, you could be taking college classes.
Yeah.
I know you take some evening classes, and all the students
Yeah.
have taken night classes, day classes, afternoon classes, weekend classes. So
Yeah.
definitely offered an opportunity for you to establish your future in a different way than when you're labeled at risk in that sense. Very good. Tiffany?
Well, I came here from Onstead Public Schools my freshman year of high school, and I just really felt like I couldn't reach my full potential at the environment that I was in, and that I just needed to really have more of a challenge for myself, and I wanted to be able to work at my own pace and go above and beyond like I was confident I could do. So I started off with one college class, and then I worked my way up to 5 last semester, and I finished, which was challenging, but it was really awesome to be able to see what I can accomplish when I set my mind to it. And now I will be attending the University of Michigan in Dearborn in the fall and studying psychology. And I just finished my last college classes, so I'm all done right now. And during this time, I took a German class. I was interested in learning another language other than Spanish. So I took a German class, and my professor told me about an exchange program that they were doing. And I was able to be part of that and have an exchange student here. And in the summer, before I attend the University of Michigan, I will be going to Germany for a month to study there and experience that. So
That is awesome. Where will you be?
I will be near Frankfurt, about an hour north of Frankfurt. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned, you said that there were some environmental factors that when you were making your decision that weren't allowing you to reach your full potential. What were some of those things?
Bullying was a big one. The staff kind of not really, I didn't feel like the teachers were necessarily cared about the safety of the students, or it was more of like a paycheck for them, is what I kind of felt like. And I wasn't really able to really have a relationship, with my teachers and really feel like, they wanted to help me. And I just felt like if I stayed there where I was, in the situation I was in, that I might just fall behind and kind of not have the motivation that I wanted to have and I knew I was capable of having, so yeah.
And for those viewers at home, some of the relational pieces that the students are talking about is as we transition students from one place to the next place, they have an advisor who serves as their checkpoint. And all of these students I was their advisor for this last semester, for some of them last year, for some of them, and for Kiana, who's not able to be here with us right now for the last few weeks. But the best example we talk about is when students transition to the next level, we don't just cut the strings off, but slowly unravel the strings one at a time, which allows students still to have a support system, people encouraging them, who care about them, who are invested into their success, and are following along with them throughout their whole educational plan. So very cool. Now, this for you, as you're finishing up and you think back to the past 4 years, for some of you 3 years, for some of you 2 years, what moment stands out most to you, and why?
I have a good one. One day I was really upset, and I've never cried at school, but I actually did that day. And I was really, because I thought I was going to fail one of my classes, and I was really upset because I thought I was going to get kicked out, and I just really overreacted. But I was just sitting in the classroom really sad, and I got an email from one of my teachers that used to teach here, Mr. Thompson. And he just gave me a bunch of encouragement, and that just meant the world to me, just to see that he cared and that he wanted me to do better, and he said, I could do it and get through it and everything. That was really cool.
Very good. Thank you, Emily. If any of you have a story to share of your favorite moment or something that stands out as you think back. But also, I would like to hear from you, what advice would you give current middle college students or future middle college students about your experience? What have you learned, or what you would tell the 12-year-old or 13-year-old, and for some of you, 15-year-old version of yourselves before coming to the academy?
Well, when I first came to the academy, I wasn't really sure what to expect. You're kind of out of your element, everything's new, and one of the biggest fears would be actually walking into your first college class because you're not around your friends or anyone that you know. There's people that are, could be your dad or people right out of high school, but you just feel really nervous and you don't know what to expect. And I remember my first class was a psychology class that I walked into, and I was so nervous that I was shaking, and I just I remember that moment so well, but now the transition that I've made, I'm so comfortable. I prefer college.
Now, why do you say that you prefer college? Because that's an important piece for the viewers to understand, because every one of our students are doing the non-ordinary. The ordinary thing to do is just do traditional high school and then go on to college when you graduate. But every one of these students chose to leave the familiar setting. They chose to leave the traditional way to do school, to do it this way, to do both at the same time. So not only are they doing one, but they're doing the other in addition to. And so talk a little bit about that. What is that? You said you like that better. Why?
It's more individualized. It's more at your own pace. You're in control of the grade that you get. You can talk with the professor. You have all of the, and especially like you don't just have a regular college student would just have like the professor and then maybe like a tutor. You have your principal, your counselor, your support system at the high school as well. But it's more. You feel more in control, I guess, and there's more like progress that you see because classes that you're taking, they're 3-4 credit classes, and so it adds up really fast, and that makes you really excited, I guess. And then you start taking on more and more, and it's challenging, but it's a really rewarding experience.
And there's something to be said about that, because we see traditional students graduate from high school and they're cut off. They go to college, they're completely on their own, on an island. Sink or swim, you need help, and we talk about this. The 4 years in high school are probably the only time where everyone around you wants to help you out and wants you to be successful. And for our students, they get to experience that support and that transition while they're doing the college and the high school. And it really speaks to that. So I think that's very interesting. You notice the heads nodding in agreement, the personal responsibility. One thing that you'll see a common thread amongst all these students is their level of commitment, of personal commitment and personal responsibility to follow through, to advocate for their needs. What else? Haley, what would you tell the 13-year-old, was it 13-year-old version of yourself or 14-year-old version?
I was 16 actually.
16, so the 16-year-old version of yourself now.
Yeah. Well, don't be intimidated by all the new classes and the new people. Kind of like Tiffany said, some of the college classes you'll see people who could be your grandma walking in there. But most of them, even if you tell them that you're from the academy, they're really supportive of you. Like they'll say, wow, you're still in high school and you're taking all these classes, and it's just really good to know that they think it's good, that what you're doing is good.
Something to add to that, Emma?
What I would say, okay, always be mature. Just especially in your first college class. I think that's really important because you'll grow more, but as you first come here, you'll probably still, have those preteen tendencies. So I don't know, that was always a big thing for me. But then you grow and you just become mature and you end up liking adults more than people your own age. I don't know, I found that.
It's true.
This isn't really for our school specifically, but I think it's important as you transition into a new school, you can change yourself to be whatever you want to be because no one here really knows you. But I think it's important to always be true to yourself in anything in life, just because you won't regret things that way because you'll always know that you honored what you truly believe. For our school specifically, I would say make good relationships with everyone around you, especially the people that support you and can present you with new opportunities, like our staff and just our teachers and everything.
And and something that Emily said that I think is important is we know as successful adults learn to shift their behaviors according to their environment. And you can clearly see, when the students say, yes, I interact better with adults, the sense of maturity, the sense of appreciation for a deeper level of conversation. As I got to be the advisor to each and every one of these students this year, you get lost in the conversation where I do not feel that I'm talking to a 16-year-old student, but the level of maturity, the interactions, the commitment, you really get lost in. You have a learner, an adult learner here, and it makes me extremely hopeful about our future and as a generation. And it gives us, as an academy, a sense of pride to see that you've matured to this level where you're shifting from one environment to the other seamlessly. And you blend in. Many of these students, if you saw them around here, you would not be able to pick out who are the middle college students, who are the traditional college students, because they blend in so well and they have learned to navigate that environment. So very good. Aiden, what would you add?
On which point?
What would you tell the 14-year-old of your version of yourself about, what you've learned now to do differently or to do better, or just advice?
I probably would have taken the extra freedoms not so light to heart. I mean, because I had some pretty rebellious tendencies when I was younger, and I probably wouldn't have done the same thing I did.
Can I add a big piece of advice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I forgot about it, but it's really big for anyone that's applying or for anyone that's actually here, is be adaptable. Like, I think that's the biggest thing about our school, because it's constantly changing. You're constantly changing classes, who you're with, like different courses even. You're not having the same course for a whole year. And people that don't like change tend to not do as well here.
And isn't that so true of life? We like to say here, you don't do better until you know better. And all these students, all 4 students, have really had to endure changes. What the program was when it started to what it is today is night and day. We've changed our mission, our vision, the format of the program, and because of it, students have had to be adaptable and they have to learn to adapt. And they have done it well, and that is why they are going to be walking proudly on May 29th. If those of you watching at home, May 29th at 5:30 p.m. at the LISD Tech Center. We'll be in the central classrooms. Everyone's invited, the public's invited. You'll get a chance to hear some more about each and every one of these students' stories and celebrate with them, celebrate their accomplishments. Really quickly, we can go around and say what your associates was in, and again, what you hope to do from here. I know some of you already talked, you're going to go study psychology, but what do you want to do? How do you want to impact the world in 10 years or 5 years down the road from here? Starting with Tiffany, we'll put you on the spot.
Well, my associate's degree was in Associate of Arts, and I'm transferring to the University of Michigan Dearborn in the fall to study psychology. And I hope to definitely leave a legacy behind, somehow change someone's life or save someone's life, make an impact in the world that way. I love helping people, and what I really would love to do is, since I would like to go into psychology and therapy and that sort of thing, would be, I know right now Detroit is trying to make a comeback.
Coming back.
And I'm from Detroit, and I do take pride in that, and so I would really like to be a part, and I know that there's a lot of young people now that are trying to piece things together to bring Detroit back on its feet, and I would love to be a part of that, and I have a feeling there'd be a lot of great people, a lot of great stories, and help the people out that way, I think, is where I want to start.
Awesome. Very cool. Haley?
My associate's degree will be in business administration. I plan on coming to JCC for one more year to do the 3+1 program, and then finish my last year for my bachelor's degree at Siena Heights.
And in 5-10 years, how will you impact the world? What's the legacy Haley will leave?
I just want to set a good example for especially teen moms. I just want them to know that, see my example and see that if you really want to do it, you can follow your dreams.
It's the truth. Story of persistence, perseverance, right on. Emily?
I got my associate in arts, and after this, I figured out lately that I really like economics and business, so I'm really considering that for my future. But in 5 to 10 years, my legacy, I don't have one that has to do with a career, but I've always just wanted to live a legacy of just being able to be there for people, someone that cares for people and always goes out of their way for them. But, business-wise, no idea.
Perfect. And Aiden?
I received my associates in transferable arts also, and I am transferring to Siena Heights to achieve my bachelor's in psychology, but after that I would like to go to U of M's grad school for psychology, specifically neuropsychology.
Specifically which, I'm sorry?
Neuropsychology.
Neuropsychology. Interesting. What appeals to you about neuropsychology?
It studies the science of certain stimuli and their effect on the brain and which part of the brain reacts to certain stimuli.
Very cool. Do you see why the hope of the future is bright? And we are very proud to have been a part of it and to have been shared. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. Thank you for sharing your time, dates for the past 4, 3, 2 years. What is that? How long have you been here, Aiden?
4.
4 years, Tiffany?
3.
3?
3.
3.
3. For sharing the past 3 and 4 years with us. It's meant a lot to us. You are the reason that we have made improvements in this program. You're the reason we continue to build and come to work every day. And thank you so much to each and every one of you graduates for all the years of commitment, of hard work, of late nights, of tiring, exhaustive weeks, and your commitment to always giving for others, being caring, being loving. Each and every one of you mentioned how you're going to make a difference in others' lives, and I have no doubt about it. It's made a difference in each and every one of our lives, and we thank you for that. For those of you viewing at home, you're part of this. You're not just observing this, you're a participant in this, because as a taxpayer in Lenawee County, you have contributed to this bright future, and we're extremely proud and we're extremely thankful to you. So, as you can see, the future in Lenawee is bright. Thank you very much.